Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Deadeye. This time, it's me in the Kremlin. I'm on the map Shatter in a 3-point domination game. And it's a tier 10 battle with a failed division tier 7 in it and a few tier 8s just, you know, to ruin their fun. Yeah. I'm here at the Aetam. Also, by the way, I don't actually have Deadeye on this Kremlin. Not because Deadeye is a bad skill, just because I don't know, I kinda hate all the implications of it, but it would have probably been a better build if I had Deadeye. Now, my captain build that I'm using, I'm going to show it at the end of the video. So there is that. Also, by the way, something about Deadeye. Basically, Deadeye increases your accuracy if there is no one visible in your, how do I call it, standard detectability or whatever. That's basically the concealment that you see in port before you go into battle. Like for my Kremlin, currently this would be 13.4. So as long as there's nothing spotted within 13.4, I would get the Deadeye bonus. Right now, for example, now I would have lost it because Demon is visible. As the Demon was in concealment, I would have gotten it. So yeah, there is that. And I mean, Deadeye is an overpowered, broken piece of shit, but as I said, no Deadeye here in this video. I'm a tank Kremlin, and even for an aggressive battleship like me, you know, there would be times where it's a very valuable skill, because oftentimes you can't really be that aggressive. Anyway, enemy destroyer here is spotted. Now let's see what my Kremlin can do. And well, I mean, that wasn't very exciting, but you know, was some damage. Now I'm trying to be nosing towards the destroyer to avoid the amount of torpedoes that I might be. And there aren't too many enemy ships here, which allows me to be moderately aggressive. Right, basically the enemy has 4 ships here, we have 5. Of course everybody tries to be a little bit passive, except for the enemy set, who is trying to suicide, and well, I mean, he succeeded with that. Now that's amazing, because that makes it a lot easier to take this camp. Now there is still the demo in here, but you know, my division mate can just like dip into this camp and then go hide behind the island if he gets raided. The enemy battleships are obviously trying to be very far away, so they won't be that much of a deal, and the demon can't really peek out much, because otherwise I will blab it. Once again, you know, right now, for example, Deadeye would be active because there's no one within 13.4 kilometers. I could shoot the Montana now and have Deadeye active the whole time, unless this demon pops up again. And you can see, even like, I mean, I'm rather aggressively positioned, and I would get the benefits of Deadeye right now, which is, yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Anyway, as I said, I went for the full tank build, so I have basically concealment expert, I have fire prevention, and I have other tier 4 skill that gives me 1 more heal. So, Montana is going broadside. Well, interesting choice there, but a welcome one. So let's see what my shares will do. Also, I'm now close enough to the Montana that we are reaching like a Brawling state, and that I would be irrelevant now, and that's exactly where I wanna be if possible. Also, we have a Demon peeking around here, wanting to be Citadel, probably. Let's see if we can help the Demon and fulfill her deepest, darkest desire, get Citadel by Kremlin. I mean, I assume that's the Demon's desire, because otherwise why would you just, you know, show so much broadside there? Now, unfortunately, we don't control B and we don't control C. The enemy actually has pushed through this cap with their destroyers, but our team is so far in the back that they can't actually do anything about it. Which is a bit of a shame, because, you know, those islands would provide reasonable cover against those ships. We could have anything sitting in there holding this cap, but yeah, well, anyway. Meanwhile, I keep fulfilling the demon's desires, and I'm trying to push here. Now, there is a cyclone coming, by the way. And if you know me, you know I love cyclones, because it stops all this long-range nonsense and it forces ships into close quarters where all the fun is. So anyway, The points-wise, it's pretty desperate because we are just losing points. Now our division mate is on his way towards B in order to try to change that. Of course, I mean, it's a game with a carrier, so a lot of it will depend if the enemy carrier takes interest. Also, there are the enemy destroyers that could just go in. And our zone wall force is probably not going to be that much help. Now the Des Moines wants to be penetrated one final time, and I'm more than happy to comply. So there we go. And now, where to? Right, the cyclone has started, and this is where I decide maybe I should just go towards B or something, but then a wild Montana appears. Now, if the Montana is coming towards me, 8 kilometers, then I'll happily engage her, right? Now, the Shikishima is sailing away. If both battleships would be sailing away, I would ignore them and would go towards B, right? Because we're during a cyclone, and there is really no point in chasing them towards the zone wall if they can't actually do anything, if they're too far away. But if the Montana is coming for me, then bring it on. If we can clear out the Montana and ideally the Shikishima before moving towards B, it would be pretty nice. Fortunately, my division mate who is trying to get B is getting harassed by carrier, and but there isn't really much he can do about it. Now he's in the daring, so he has fairly frequent smoke screens. We will see if that's enough. Now, we do have Shikishima here at the zone. We have a Massachusetts who is hugging the carrier, which is awkward, especially during a cyclone. But you know, I mean, a lot of the friendly team is doing weird things. Don't know where this Montana is going during the cyclone or this thunder rides. Like, well, anyway. I would say people don't understand cyclones, but then again, they don't really understand how the game works in general, I suppose, so there is that. Now, I've stopped here because I can't be pushing into a crossfire, so I'm trying to reverse a little bit, because I need to stay angled against both of those. Now, there is a very serious issue, and that's the Shikishima can go through my nose. So the Shikishima is more than happy with this standoff here, because the Shikishima is going to farm me, and there isn't anything I can do about it. But if I had pushed in too far, I would have been in a crossfire, which would have been bad as well. Now, my friendly Shikishima is coming this way, but thanks to the cyclone, he isn't going to be very useful just yet. You need intelligence to know. What you need is to understand how a cyclone works, dear Montana. Now, I tried to get cheeky with some cheek shots there, but I didn't have the angle, so, you know, that was a fail on my part. And now I'm just gonna go full speed towards the Shikishima. Now at this point you could consider ramming, because honestly he has a lot more hit points than me. And I'm on very low health, I only have one heal left, and it would be a reasonable trade, but I don't think I'm quite happy with that. So this time I tried shooting the guns, as did the enemy it looks like. So he knocked out one of my turrets and I failed to knock out his. But you know, I felt like if I can disable his firepower a bit, it would allow me to get close enough to hopefully do this. Now, my plan right now is not a ram, but a sail-by, basically. I wanna get towards his broadside, and I wanna try to citadel the crap out of him. Now, here's a problem. The Montana came back, and the Montana could finish me off. You know, the Shikishima did some reasonable damage. Ooh, okay. I'm still alive. My will to victory has activated, because I'm a balanced Russian. And now let's just see. I should have for the front guns maybe the angle, and yes I did. So that's the Shikishima dealt with. Next up the Montana. Now the Montana is currently turning full broadside because he's angling against my Shikishima, who has finally arrived to help me deal with this. And the Montana isn't even aiming at me, despite the fact that I'm on low health. So there is that. No citadels here, but I've earned myself a high caliber, and the Montana is slowly going down. Now the rear guns might be turning in my direction now. Like, I'm very easy to finish off for the Montana right now. I'm just hoping that, well, my reload will be in time. I think his turrets are turning my way, but will it be in time? No. Okay, so we cleared out those ships. But we have a problem. The problem is not necessarily the ships, the problem is that we don't hold camps, and we haven't had many camps for a long time now, right? Because we basically never had B or C, the enemy has, well, not twice our points, but a lot. And now we need, like, Cyclone or no, right? The enemy ships are pretty far away from us and we are pretty far away from B. If the enemy team would go AFK right now, probably win. Now let's speed this up here a little bit, because I'm just moving towards the center right now. Now, as I said, right, the Cyclone might actually be in our favor, even though we can't really see the enemy right now. Because it means the enemy has to, if they want to shoot something, they gotta move forward. And our only way of winning is by sinking those ships. Now, if they just go AFK somewhere, then basically lost. Let's hope they didn't do that. Now, our only hope is basically going into B, right? Sinking both those battleships and then moving on and capping C. Now, sinking those battleships will give us some more time. I think we can start reducing the speed a little bit here. So, yeah. So, the enemy battleships are coming our way. That's exactly what we needed. So, in close quarters, we now need to sink both of those battleships, take the B cap, and then move on to C. Preferably without losing a ship. I mean, easier. It's not like I'm on very low health away. So, Montana is coming in broadside. That's nice. So there is a lovely citadel there. Now you could argue that since I'm on low health, I shouldn't be leading this charge. And if we were a coordinated team, I would definitely do that, right? Because, also, by the way, our Massachusetts has decided to... Like, our Massachusetts has been not doing anything for most of the game, and he continues the tradition of being useless. Because it's a Cyclone and he's too far away to do anything. But I could have tried letting the Shikishima leading the charge. The Shikishima is going the right way. But we are a little bit on the clock there, right? The enemy's at 972 points. Like, falling back a little bit, letting the Shikishima take the lead, those few seconds might just make the difference. Winning and losing, so, you know. Okay, so we got the Montana. Now we need to get a summer. Enemy is down to 924. We are currently contesting the center, but they still gain points through C, right? And obviously the carriers. My division mate suggests a ram. I could try to go for the ram. Actually, fun fact, I can overmatch the nose of a Slava. I was considering doing it, but I was like, let's go for the gun turrets, try to knock them out. Probably should have gone for the nose instead. Now the enemy got a flooding on me, which is unfortunate because my damage con is on cooldown, so I'm getting very, very low here. Okay, got the damage con off. Now, I wasn't entirely certain in the situation if I could go through the nose or not, that's why I went for the turrets earlier also. But, yeah. If I had gone through the nose earlier, maybe... Good, and... The Slava didn't actually shoot me, that's nice. Unfortunately, the carrier is coming for me, and the carrier sets a fire, and that means I don't get the reload off because I'm so close to getting some citadels there. Oh well, that's a defeat, and it was a pretty fun game, but unfortunately we didn't quite win it because we ignored the objectives too long, and that's why we lost. In the end, I actually managed to do 304,000 points of damage, which is quite considerable, I suppose. Got a Confederate and a high caliber. Sunk 3 enemy ships. I did a boatload of tanking as well. But hey, it just wasn't enough to win this game, which is a little bit sad. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching it. I will attach my Captain build here for you to see. And, you know, I'll see you next time.